I had already made it up in my mind that that caution was coming out, whether I liked it or not. And somewhere about 40 or 30 to go, I was getting those 10 lap increment countdowns. I was like, okay, it's getting close. It'll be here any moment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cup Connection. I'm Mike Massaro. We are so fortunate today to have the winner from Richmond here with us, Chris Buescher. Chris, congratulations. Thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to talk about the high points on the season, right? And get to get into it and celebrate a little bit.
Yeah, I saw how you celebrated a little bit. I'm peeking at your social media. I saw on Twitter that you may have taken the trophy to Cookout to exchange it for, I guess, a cheer wine milkshake. How'd that all go?
That was believe it or not, we didn't get any of that approved ahead of time. So we just straight cold up, walked up to the window with the trophy, and the guy he was a great sport about it, and told him, "Hey, we just here. I think I was supposed to ask for a discount on a shake, not a trade deal." But I realized it was the worst trade in probably the history of trade deals. So bad way to go about that one. But he ended up being a great sport about it. I was like, I can't actually trade this. I'll pay you instead. And it was a good time.
Two observations I made there. One, you're not supposed to walk through the drive-thru. It would have been great to take the car, right? So, and B, it certainly looked like he wanted to really take the trophy. Like he wanted it, right? So,
I think you're right. I think he was getting ready to take it, and I don't know where it was going to go from there. But he was pretty convinced that that I was for real.
Well, you are for real. We saw that on Sunday. Hey, let's talk about the race, shall we? It's a long race, but really that last 10 laps is really what stands out to me. Just wanted to know from your perspective what it was like going from having that rather comfortable lead and then having the caution come out and then being in a dogfight.
I had already made it up in my mind that that caution was coming out, whether I liked it or not. And somewhere about 40 or 30 to go, I was getting those 10 lap increment countdowns. I was like, okay, it's getting close. It'll be here any moment. And I kind of expected it around 20, not quite 10, but it just couldn't be that easy. We couldn't take a dominant car and run away with it and have a nice easy run to the finish. What I was saying, I'm just so proud of everybody at RFK, and the ability to have such a fast race car really makes my job so much easier from behind the wheel. But put us in that position where we're able to save equipment, kind of stop shifting for a little bit, save as much tire as possible, so that if it was a race to the end, that we weren't going to give up anything in those last 10 laps. Obviously, the caution reset everything, put us in a spot that we had to go fight it out. But like I said, we were. I knew that it was coming, that that it was inevitable, that caution was coming out, and also that we were very good firing off. And our Faststyle Mustang was so good that I wasn't worried about it. I knew we could beat anybody getting going there, and it was a little closer than I'd like it to be. But when Hamlin blocked up tire on entry to one there, I knew at that point that we were in a really safe spot, and especially when that white flag come out, knowing that the next flag would end the race no matter what, and you wouldn't have to do it again. We knew we had it at that point.
You're right. It's never easy. Just ask your teammate and your owner, Brad Keselowski. For a long time in the race, it looked like he had the car to beat. Obviously, things didn't work out for him, but for the organization, worked out great. What was the conversation like with Brad afterwards?
Yeah, I think the thing to read into there is we had two cars that were extremely strong on the event, and that's big as RFK as an organization, to be able to lead as many laps as we did between the two of us, to be 1-2 there and driving away from the field in the final stage. That's obviously a very special situation to be in. I knew that we had our work cut out for us on the day after qualifying, and on our side, starting so buried in the field at a track that's been a little bit tough to pass at in the spring. And I think with the hot weather, the fall race seems to widen out a little bit better and give you a few more options. And as a driver, I like that. I don't know if every driver does, but I like the fact that you get to hunt and look for some grip, and we're able to find some areas to make some good speed. Our pit crew did a fantastic job all day. We had super fast stops all day long, all single-digit numbers, which is very impressive. It's so fast on pit road now, you hardly have time to even prep yourself to be ready to go again in the car. So, that's a good problem to have. It was a matter of good strategy. Good windows pitting in, being clean, executing on the day, and with both of us having that speed, it surely made for a good week so far. That being said, obviously Brad wants to win too, and I know it's got to be hard, and I can't imagine being in his shoes as an owner and a driver. I don't want to be in his shoes. I've been fairly upfront about that. I don't want to be a team owner, but I know that's hard for him, and I know his drive is as high as ever to go win races. Just it's awesome to have the opportunity to win a race with both cars, and I think that's special that we were able to pull it off with one. And I think we got a lot of good tracks coming up to where we'll be able to get another win within this organization.
Well, I want to talk about those tracks that are coming up in a moment, but first I want to stay on the subject of RFK Racing. Certainly a resurgence, it certainly seems, for this organization. You just talked a little bit about Brad. The victory this week, what do you think it means for the organization?
It's certainly big. When we set our goals at the beginning of the season, and we set them last year too, and they really didn't change much this year. It was we need to win races. We need to put both cars in the playoffs, and we need to make a drive deep into the playoffs. Last year we won the dual races, which didn't put you in the playoffs. It was kind of that good jump start on the season, but after that, it took us a good several months to kind of get going and find some momentum, find a good baseline. The Bristol win, me personally, that was like top of my bucket list. Bristol night race. That's the one I wanted more than any other. So for me, that was as special as it can get. And then once everything sinks in and you get in the next week and you're like, oh man, the playoffs have already started. We're not in it. That didn't have any lasting effects. So I say all that to say that we started this season with the same goals. Consistently, we have been in the playoffs by points if it were to end at any moment throughout the season, which is very strong. We've got a win now to where we are locked in. Couldn't even have enough new winners at this point, so that's awesome for us. On the 17 side, Brad still is stretching out his point situation, even though we're trying to get wins with both cars, but his points are still gaining to that cutoff line, so that's huge. We're on track to meet our goals, but you set goals wanting to exceed them, and we wanted to have more wins by now. It is very special to have that one and to show the progression, to show that we've been in the hunt to win races at a lot of different styles of racetracks, not as many as we would like and not as consistently as we would like, but we've had opportunities at road courses, short tracks, super speedways, and even some of our mile and a halves have been close at times. So I feel like we are more universal than maybe not ever, but kind of go back to the dominant Roush days of call it 08, 09, somewhere in there, and say that, look, we have potential at a lot of different styles of racetracks, and we're doing it with both of our race cars. And that's a great measure of success. And I think the Richmond win kind of put a bow on that storyline, but also understanding that that's not the final chapter of our year, that we have a lot of racing to go.
Well, I know there's a lot of fans of your organization who are really excited to hear that and looking forward to what you do in the playoffs now that you are locked in. I think this is a good time to segue to the fan questions we received for you, Chris. So we got some questions from Facebook. First off, by the way, we got one of those questions all the way from Hungary. Did you know he had fans in Hungary?
That's impressive right there. I can't say I knew that.
Your reach is extremely broad. Good job.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
The questions we're going to use, though, however, I think are from the United States. In fact, there's two questions very similar that we're going to ask. One from Dennis, the other one from Michael. Dennis asks which track you think is the best for you in the playoffs, and Michael asks which do you think is the worst.
Well, I like one of those questions, and I like the answer to it, but
I can only guess which one it is you like.
So I think it's going to be fair to say that Bristol is kind of my highlight of the playoffs. I love that racetrack. It's been my favorite racetrack for a long time. Last year gives you a little bit extra confidence going in. Know how hard it is to win that race too, but that is definitely the high point where I'm at. I also think about the Roval has been very good the last several years for us, so that's one we're looking at pretty strongly as well. There's several others that I feel confident about that we can be very good at. Maybe not what I'm circling as my best, but
all right, Michael wants to know which one you might be a little leery of.
And so I don't even like this answer because I love this racetrack, and it pains me to say that I think Darlington might be the one that needs the most work. And like I said, I love that racetrack. It is on my top 3 places we go, and it's been tough the last 2 years with the new car. Something's clicked at a lot of different places. And something hasn't quite clicked at that one. Now I say that, and last year was very tough on us there, but the spring race was pretty decent. So knowing what we've gained throughout the season, we are in a better place looking at Darlington this time than we have been last year. I say this cautiously that could be our toughest race, and with hopes that it certainly won't be.
All right, well, Darlington's a tough racetrack, so can't blame you for saying that. A very difficult racetrack. It's the track too tough to tame after all, right? So I can understand your perspective on that. Hey, looking at the results from this past week, one thing stood out for me. Ford. To me, it looked like it could have been the manufacturer's best race of the year. What do you think?
Yeah, you look at it, you had our 2 RFK cars very strong, 4-car qualified and ran top 10, right? The 41 and Priest, my friend over there, he had a super day as well, so that was awesome to see. Yeah, I mean it was very, very good as a manufacturer, and so that certainly gives us a little bit extra push going into Michigan, which obviously is a very very heavy manufacturer home track.
It's always one where Jack has wanted to win. I know that for a fact, right? So,
yes.
So, where would you say Ford is right now compared to where the manufacturer was back in February?
It's a little hard to get a read because I just don't have the information from some of the other organizations, right? And I know where we're at, and I know what we feel like. We fight week in and week out, and we are under no impression that we have been perfect and that we need something more from Ford to take a next step. But we know that it takes a group effort from everybody. So with that, I feel like we've been very competitive in the last several weeks at a lot of different styles of racetracks. Some of the styles of tracks that some of the Ford conversations came around last or at the beginning of the season, and not having the results or being as competitive at, we went to Pocono. Pocono was one where it's like, that could be one where that shows up. Wasn't necessarily the case. Now, we weren't dominant there by any means, but we were competitive as a group. And so I think that, you look at that as a pretty good read. Richmond is a racetrack where a lot of things come into play, but obviously very strong as a manufacturer. Michigan, there's always extra pressure on us there from the Ford camp. And so with the extra pressure also comes extra effort from their side of things, which is also, that's good for us. That's exciting. And surely gives us that added confidence that this could be that Michigan win that we've been looking at for Jack for a long time, and knowing that we're going to have that weight on our shoulders. With that support and with the speed that we found lately, surely gives us hope.
Yeah, the Roush family has always wanted to win in Michigan. That's gone on for generations. It's not changing now. I just want to reach out to our audience real quick, Chris. I want to talk to the fans out there who join us every week here on Cup Connection. I want to thank you for being with us. And a quick reminder, please hit like and subscribe if you enjoy what we do. And please look back at some of our previous interviews as well. We had Chase Elliott here last week. He had some great insight as well, and I know a lot of folks out there really like Chase, so check it out. Getting back to Chris, hey man, so big week for you, a victory. Got any downtime, way to celebrate it with the family? What are you doing the rest of the week before you head to Michigan?
It has not been downtime yet. We've been at the shop all week. We've had some celebrations. Fifth Third Bank and Fastenal got together and threw us a nice little breakfast celebration yesterday. Got to take pictures with the trophy, with Jack, with everybody in the shop in front of the car before it was torn down. It's fully disassembled and getting ready for the next race now, but that was really special. Monday, obviously, is it's fun to go around the shop and see everybody and get the congratulations. It's not a week that you're going to be productive from my standpoint of trying to get much done, because you're going to be talking a lot, and that's good. And that's good to give your appreciation to everybody here that you don't see on TV in Victory Lane that's worked so hard for this, to see so many individuals here at RFK that have worked here for 20, 25 years, that I worked alongside with when I had my toolbox down in the shop and was working on Xfinity cars or Grand Am Mustangs for Jack Jr. and some of the others. So it's cool to be with them, knowing that we were around in the heyday, that we've seen some of the struggles as well, and we've worked through them, and that we're been able to make such big progress and really get to stay on the right track and get back to winning races. It's cool to see the excitement come back out of people that have worked so hard for this, that have been loyal here, that are working so hard to make this happen, and to give your appreciation to them. So surely a special week. Don't want to take anything for granted, because these wins are hard to come by. They really are. And we need to at least settle down and appreciate them as a big family here at RFK. Maybe before we head to Michigan, maybe we can go do something with family. It's actually my mom's birthday today, so we get to go celebrate with her and enjoy a little bit of family time there as well.
All right. Well, happy birthday to your mom. You gave her a nice gift a little bit early, a few days early. I'm sure she enjoyed that. It was also Henry Ford's birthday too, I guess. Nice little tribute to him as well, 160 years after he was born. Just wishing you the best of luck as you head to Michigan. I know there's a lot of fans in Hungary who are pulling for you.
Well, we're going to do our best up there as well. We'll go double up.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us. And folks out there watching us here on Cup Connection, thank you once again for joining us. And we hope to see you again next Friday.